Hello everyone, this is Adik Hussain and you're watching my YouTube channel. Welcome back again in class number 2 of Figma Crash Course. And in today's video, we will talk about all the tools and their functions and their properties available in Figma, right? So in class number 1, previously uploaded in last week, we talked about what is Figma, who can use Figma, how we can set up Figma, what is the major difference between Figma, like as a web-based Figma software, we can use the desktop version as well, and how we can install fonts in Figma, right? So in this class, we will talk about very basic tools and their features and properties available in the Figma, and these are mandatory to basically know all about these very basic features, right? So let's start quickly learning. But before than that, if you are new to this YouTube channel, you can subscribe YouTube channel. Here on this video, I will be publishing a lot about different UI UX tools, either like related to design, either productivity, either product management, right? And I will be talking a lot about communications, freelance, and also like client hunting as well. I have one newsletter. I will be giving like submitting the subscription link in the description of this video. You can subscribe, and I usually every week I publish a newsletter regarding the free sources. So let's start. But again, if you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe to the channel, and let's start. So quickly, when you come into Figma, so this is basically the Figma interface. We discuss a lot in previous our lecture. I have explained everything, that what are the features available here, how you can like set those features, along with that few quick features related to files, pages, layers, and also I explained that how prototype work, how design work, how the pages color work, and everything. And I gave you an idea that this is the toolbar, and we are going to explain this toolbar in this video, and I will explain every properties related to each tools, right? So this video is going to be a bit lengthy, but bear with me and watch the complete video, and it is going to be like a very knowledgeable video for you guys to learn Figma properly. But let me give you an idea that in a few cases you will be having this actions icon in this way, and in few cases you will be having an actions icon in this way. So this is basically the new feature Figma launched recently, that is Figma AI. I will be publishing a very short video tutorial for this Figma AI separately, for those who are like pro in Figma and using it at a very like larger scale. But for the beginners, there's no need to worry about this feature. I will explain it separately, right? Okay. So let's start describing tools one by one. So in case when I will be like discussing tools, there will be shortcut keys with every tools. So I will request everyone to memorize those shortcut tools, because when I obviously work with the Figma, I usually use shortcuts, and those shortcuts really help us to boost our productivity and work really faster. So you can quickly learn these shortcut tools. They are quite like similar as we have in different universal design tools like Illustrator, Photoshop, and few of them have obviously different as well. But you can always learn them by clicking on this help and resource icon, and over here they have like Figma shortcut, keyboard shortcut, so you can just quickly open and learn these shortcut right from here. So I believe you can see essential shortcuts here. For picking color, we usually press V, are different actions A, and then tools, right? Move tools, framer tools, sorry, frame tools. What are different tools are available in the Figma? So you can use these shortcuts. And I'll suggest everyone who is working in Figma and want to work very quickly or very faster, they have to learn these shortcuts. Okay, so let's start. The first one is basically move tool, which is by default it's selected. Is the shortcut is V. Then we have hand tool. Then we have scale tool. But before explaining these tools, I would like to explain this uh, frame tools, which is the hash. But with the frames, we have like sections, slice, and frame, right? So before going into this frame, I would like to explain section. So section is basically again quite similar, like in different apps when we have different features, a different sections. So we basically mark separate sections, and then also we can like define obviously separate section here as well. So keeping them screen separately, so there's no merge, there's no like confusions or not merging the screens to create basically ambiguity or doubts for us, so we can keep them separately in the section wise, right? So section is basically that's exactly the same thing. So if you want to like duplicate any section, you can select that one and then press Control D. It will duplicate, and Control D is the universal shortcut for duplication, right? You can also rename sections right from here, or maybe you can see this section icon and then the section name here as well. So you can rename anywhere from and like yeah, that's how it actually works, the section tool. Then we have like the frame. The frame is basically F, and if you just press F, or you can select frame here. Frame is basically either you can draw just in section, so it will be in the section, but in case if you like want to draw separately, you can draw separately here as well. You can either press like hold your mouse and drag it, it will obviously draw this frame, or otherwise you can just like press F and then click, and then obviously it will draw a frame in the form of square as well, right? Okay. So when you basically draw a frame, what is exactly the frame? Frame is basically the canvas that is in the Figma where you can design, right? So canvas is basically the white space where you can design, or we can where you can draw anything, right? So frame is actually the same thing. So right from here, you can obviously expand like either horizontally or vertically. I mean, in the form of width or in the form of height, you can expand it. But in case, uh, like if you don't press anything, and it obviously either you can expand it like horizontally, or maybe in case you want to expand it vertically, you can do. But if you press shift, then obviously it will obviously, and it will always like expand in the form of square box, right? So keep in mind that if you want to expand like in a square, you have to press shift. Remember that when either we are like designing like shapes, or maybe we are designing any of basically these frames, pressing shift will basically make that square box, right? So this is like always keep in mind. You can again similarly rename right from here as well, and also from here as well. And these are the bonding box. You can expand based on these bonding box anytime, right? Okay. Then we have a few other features here. We are going to expand those things one by one. But let me explain one more thing, and that is regarding the frame. So if you press frame, and Figma is a very genius tools, and it has basically predefined frame as well. So in case if you want to design anything related to any specific mobile, so in cases mobile I want to basically design, then I will take this frame. Or in case if I want to design for tablet, desktop, presentation, Apple Watch, any social media, right? So in case if you are designing a Facebook cover page, you can take this frame and then design in it. It is already like having proper dimensions regarding to the Facebook cover page, right? So that's how actually it works. Okay, let's discuss few more properties of the frame as well. One is duplication. So if, as I already mentioned, that Control D is the duplication, so it can duplicate within the section. So in case if you have like any frame outside like the section, and you Control D, it again duplicates as well. But one more shortcut is Alt. So in case if you press Alt and then you drag it, it will duplicate, and then you if you Control D, it will duplicate them, and obviously they will be visible. Okay, so they are visible here, right? So in case if I keep duplicating, uh, in this way, if I keep duplicating, it is expanding. The section is expanding. It is behaving like with the frame. So in some cases your section is in this way and your design is there, but you want to like manually adjust the layout of the section as well according to your design. One case is you can just drag it from here and then adjust it, but another case is if you just like double click on at the corner of the section, it will automatically adjust according to your frames and according to the layout of the frames as well, right? This is the properties of sections. Now let's discuss about the properties of frame. So right from here, you have the frames. You can choose any frames, or maybe you can choose section as well. But in case if you want to like change this section with iPhone size, it will obviously automatically change like in this way. But right now, then we have this dev mode icons. Keep like forget it for right now. I'll explain it later on. Then we have like create a component, leave it right now as well, and also masking. So ex- I believe you already know that what actually the masking is if you know some design tool. But if you don't know, leave it. I will let explain like later on. Then I don't know why Figma is keeping this more action and then these three in between again the more action. So they just need to show like either these or maybe these. So I think it's an extra thing. Leave it. Then we have position. So in case currently you see these positions are inactive. The reason is basically because the frame uh, is itself landing on the Figma empty canvas, right? So right at the canvas, it's negative to coordinate to like minus 8, 14 to the x canvas and minus 7, 23 to y canvas. So that's why they are inactive. If I place them in any like sections, you will see they are active right now. So I can just adjust the positions anywhere with the parental like sections. But remember that in case you have like anything in the frame, obviously if I'm placing this in the frame and I'm just changing it red, right? So right now they are again active. You can just change their position as well within the frame or wherever they are. You can adjust their frame, right? Leave these things currently. I will explain it later on. But yeah, one more thing. Now moving ahead, this is basically the position of rotation, like the angle. So supposingly if I write 45, you can adjust the angle of the shape or frame as well at any cost, right? And same is for the section. So if like you place it like if you adjust section, then you can see there's no like rotation. The reason is because you cannot like uh, place section at any specific angle, right? But yeah, like in the layout, you have the sections width and the height, appearance. This is opacity. You can adjust opacity right from here, right? And then also the corner radius. This is basically like the radius of the shape. So if I adjust it here, you can see one more thing. You can either like scroll like place cursor here and drag it, it will decrease or it will increase, right? And also if you can like mention the numbers here, it is again going to make the radius as well. It's really bad, but yeah, just giving you an idea. Then we have like the colors, so you can choose any colors for sections, for frames. They are the same thing. Like in case if you have selected any frames, it's quite similar thing, right? Over here. Leave this clip content for now. I will explain it a bit later, but for now you can just like get an idea. And appearance is again same. The radius is same, right? And also the shape, like the color is same again. I will explain color separately, obviously, in the videos when we will doing practical work. But right now you can see, right? Okay, then for the both things we have over here, like this is icon, it obviously hide and you can see this is the blend mode. We will explain these things a bit later on, but as a UI UX designer, we don't use it normally, so there's no need to worry about these things. Forget these two icons plus and also this grid icon. I will explain later on, obviously, but for now, leave it. Then we have this stroke. Stroke is basically border, like border around any shape or any like section or any frame. So you will just click here and then obviously right now, if I place it in the white color, you can see there is a border or a stroke, just like red color. And here we have few options. This is the opacity of the border, and right from here you can change the color of a border as well, right? And also here is the position of the border, like either inside, center, or maybe like outside. So if you see, I will explain it later on, obviously, when we'll start with the designing work. But currently, you can get an idea that what exactly the stroke is. Then we have few effects. Leave it for now because you will it will confuse you guys. So we will explain it later on, right? Then we have grid layout. I will explain it later, but for now, everything I think. But yeah, in case you have designed anything and you want to export it, you can just plus and then over here you can obviously find the scale of proportionality and then click on PNG. Obviously, either PNG, JPG, SVG, or PDF. These are the extension of a file that Figma gives you to export, so you can export them. And before then export, you can preview it actually that how actually it looks in this way, right? So that's how that's were a few properties with the frame and also same with the sections, right? But yeah, this is again the layout things as I was mentioning previously that in case you have few things in your frames, right? And I want to basically make it like there's a lot of empty space in the section, so I want to make it like the layout very close to my design, so sections are not creating like cleaning the file basically. So I can click here and you can see it will adjust according to the previous design as well, but I think they are not in the section, so that's why it was a quite like they have quite space, but in case currently I believe yeah, but I think it's in this way. So let's try it now, but yeah, it is in this way. So that's the minimum basically space that can be occupied by the files and the sections, right? But I think it's pretty clear. Then we have like the slice tool. We don't use it too much, but slice tool is basically if in some cases we just want to mark some space, specific position of the design, a specific point of the dog, and then we want to leave like the comment there, or maybe like just giving us proper handoff to developer and just marking that this actually what this position mean or what this design element mean. So that where then we use this slice, but we normally don't use it, so there's no need to worry about this thing, right? Okay. So like as I mentioned that this is the frame. So whenever I click on the frame and drag it or draw the frame, it quickly turns like my mouse converts into the move tool. So move tool is basically like uh, selecting and then moving any random like element to anywhere, right? So this is the move tool. Then there's a hand tool. Hand tools, for hand tools you basically either press H, either press your scroll wheel on the mouse, or maybe you are like this space bar and then just select anything and then drag it. It really basically helps you to move objects in separately, right? To basically view your whole interface on Figma. But move tool is really handy, and obviously when you like work, you want to view different design screens or different interfaces available on your screen. You can just quickly press your keyboard's space bar and then like drag your mouse. It obviously change different scenarios, right? So in this way it really helps you. Then right at the bottom we have scale tools. So I'm not explaining the scale tool for now at the moment, but obviously we will explain it later on and you will learn a lot. But yeah, in case when move tool is selected, so you can see again the same properties as I explained earlier regarding the frame or maybe regarding the shapes as well. So this is how actually the move tools work. Then right here we have like the shapes tool. These properties are going to be quite similar to the shapes, but few of them will be different as well. So those will be the advanced properties. So I will not be explaining those things because I want to like keep it quite simpler version right from the basics, and then obviously we will move toward the advanced level, and then I will be explaining those things as well. But yeah, here we are few shapes. One of them is rectangle. So for rectangle, you can quickly press R and then it brings the rectangles here as well. And it gives you the leverage to draw rectangle in any form. But what if you want to basically draw a square? So if you like press R and like have cursor like as a plus to draw, and then you just press shift, it will draw like the square box, right? So remember that when you want to design rectangle, just press R and drag it, And when you want to like design a square box, like bring press R, bring the rectangle tool, but press shift and then drag, right? So it will basically draw the square box right at the corner. uh, I believe it's pretty clear, right? So then when you draw basically any specific shape, there are few different things here happenings here as well. So right at the corners we have bounding box, a bounding rectangles in a sphere. That is basically the bounding boxes. So you can just select the bounding box and then drag it, and it will obviously gives you a leverage to draw, like expand your shape, right? Then we have like four inner circle inside. They are basically the radius of the shape, right? Radius is basically rounding the corner, right? So if I click it and press as my hold my mouse, press my mouse and drag it inside, it basically converts my circle in sorry my sphere into the circle, right? But in case of this thing, if I bring them, it converts the rectangle into oval shape, right? But what if I want to increase the radius of only one corner, right? So for that purpose, I need to press Alt on my keyboard and then drag it, and it will obviously only like drag that portion. And in case if you want to uh, drag it two option, then obviously you press like one side here and then drag it here, and then obviously you have to press alt and then drag it, right? So that's how actually it works. I believe this rectangles sorry alt what actually mean this round radius is clear as well, right? So yeah, one more thing, if you want to duplicate it, one thing is control D and you can duplicate it. But there's a slight difference between duplication of control D with the shapes and framer, right? Sorry, with the frame, not framer. Framer is another tool. I apologize. Let me give you an example. So in case if this is the shape and here I am going to draw a frame, remember that there's a huge difference between shapes and frames. So always try to work with the frames, not the shapes, right? Why I am asking, like requesting you to always work with frames, not the shape, I will explain later on, as obviously, but you will like learn a lot. So here, when you design, like when you draw a frames, there's a difference between frames. How you can know that there's a difference between shape. Either I'm drawing shape or either I'm like taking frame. So in case of frame, there is a name, right? And it frame always have a pure white color, but the shape don't, they don't have any name, right? Here is no name at the shape right here as with the frame, right? And also it don't have appear colors, right? As I believe you can clearly get an idea that this is a basically gray and this is basically a white, right? Okay, so I was going to explain you the duplication. So in case of frame, if frame is selected and I press Control D, it duplicate frame and place it adjacent to the existing frame, right? But what if I like select any shape and then press Control D? What it does? Keep in mind, like look at here, if and also the shape is selected, control D, it duplicated the rectangle as the rectangle 3, but what it did, it placed exactly above the the previous rectangle, right? So for that purpose I need to select and drag it separately, right? So you can see it was duplicated, but I have to like drag it separately. And then obviously if I am going to press Control D, it will be duplicating it like and following my previous action where I placed it like previously. Okay, let me explain it again. So if I select any shape, press Control D, it duplicate, and now I have to drag it and place it here. So now if I pressing Control D, Figma is exactly following the same action while duplicating. as I did with the shape, right? So that's how actually Figma works in the like for duplication of a file. So duplication of a shape in the form of like proper shape or in the form of frame. So I hope it's clear, right? And one more thing, uh, you can again, it's quite similar. You can press Alt and then drag it and keep it anywhere. But in case if I press like while duplicating with Alt and press Shift, it only allows me to like keep it at the 90-degree. Right now, I'm not able to place it anywhere. I will be only able to duplicate it at 90-degree because I am pressing Shift with Alt while duplicating, right? So that's how actually it works. But in case if you just press Alt and don't press Shift, you can place it anywhere, and then you can press Control D to duplicate. And how actually duplication works within Figma, right? Okay. Yes. One more thing, I just really want to explain you guys that currently, as you can see, I placed a frame, but it's quite like invisible. The reason is currently it is only 3% zoom in. So our view option, you can click here and quickly zoom in to 100%, or maybe you can press quickly Control 0 with duplicate zoom to 100%. You can either like press control and scroll up or scroll down, again it duplicates, right? And then you can press control 0, it will again duplicate 100%. And also you can press control, just a second. Okay, apologize, there was an issue. Okay, so if you press control 0, it will zoom to fit, or you can just like make click here and then zoom uh, according to your requirements, right? Currently skip these things. I will explain them later on, right? Okay. Then frames tool is covered. We were talking about shapes, like line. Simply L, you can press and drag it. It will draw line. But if you want a straight line, you can just press Shift and it will draw it line. But another thing, Shift and L, that is for arrow. And again, if you just press Shift, it will draw straight line. But if you don't press L, it will obviously sorry Shift, it will draw at any angle, and you can just like draw a arrow according to your requirement. Then right at the bottom we have ellipse. Ellipse for shortcut key is O. You can just press and drag it, it will draw. But in case you press Shift, you will be only able to draw like with the shape, like pressing Shift, you will only be able to draw a circular thing, right? So that's how actually it works. And the properties are quite similar things right here as well. But in case if you just like, if I select like line or arrow, there is few slight difference here as well. So this is basically, you can see right at here, this is the ending point. Okay, let's make it quite smaller so I can show you while keeping everything here. Okay, so this is the ending point. So you can see how actually it is making. Either I want to make it round, circular, either I want to use any specific pointers, right? So I can keep it in this way. And right at these things, we have like these things here. So you can again like use arrows as well. So you just draw a line and then convert it into arrow. It is possible as well. And you can also like swipe between them in this way right from here as well, right? So that's how actually it works. There's a slight difference. There was a slight like thing that need to be explained as well. Okay. So then we have another thing, that is polygon. So you can just draw it here and press and it will draw the polygon. So in the form of polygon, there is another thing, that is three. Three is basically counts, which is giving them the corners, right? So you can increase if you want to like draw an octagon, you can just press 8 and convert it into octagon. And maybe in case if you want pentagon, you can just press 5 and it converts pentagon as well. The rest is exactly the same thing, right? Then we have star. So star is obviously again, if you press Shift, it will draw a proper star. And if you press Shift and Alt, it will obviously increase proportionally. And if you just press Shift, it will obviously increase proportionally, but at a very fixed point, right? But yeah, here you can also see few another changes as well. So this is 5. 5 is basically the count, but obviously you have seen few different shapes. So if I convert that 5 into 3, it becomes in this way. If I like convert into obviously 13, it becomes in this way. And it, obviously we see different shapes on the web pages, and that they work in this way, right? So what is this, right? This is basically the ratio. What is the ratio? You can see right at the shapes, and it will give you an idea that how actually ratio is working. You have an option of a ratio right here as well, so you can just like increase ratio of that right from here as well, right? By pressing this like smaller circle, and it convert in this way. This is basically the radius, right? So if you want to like press it and like increase it here, so it is like, I believe you're getting an idea that it is increasing the count, right? I apologize, I said like the radius, but it was not radius. It is basically the number of counts, right? And this one is basically the radius, right? So as you can get an idea that now the edges are getting rounded, but in case if you want sharp edges, you can obviously have a sharp edges as well. And in this way, now you have like a very different kind of a shape, right? I believe you are getting an idea that how you can design these shapes and work with them, right? Right at the bottom, we have image. Like keep in mind, we will discuss about this a bit later on, but obviously we are going to discuss things a lot about these images and also placing them. But for the moment, like keep in mind, and also I will explain it later on. Then we have a pen tool and a pencil tool. Pen tool is again same thing, as you can just draw any random picture, sorry, any random illustrations if you want to draw. If you are a designer using like sketches, doing artwork, anything, you know how pen tools works, right? And then there is a bucket tool and also this blend tool as well. So this is basically like making this a bit blend, right? So you can select it and then it will round it, right? So that's how actually it works. And the bucket tool is basically the tools. So if in case you want to like fill any colors, you can just pick any colors right from here and then convert it here, right? So if I'm going to fill these colors here, so I will just press it here and right from here, so I will just select and place it here. So yeah, this that's how actually it works. As you believe know that the paints work in your very previous and primary classes. You used computer and then you have seen this thing, right? So that's how actually it works. Then we have pencil. So pencil is basically for like designing or for writing anything. So it they are these are two, like pen and pencils are the two very basic things, and they really help for those who draw illustrations, do sketches work in the Figma, but not like at that much. So we don't use it too much, but obviously they are helpful tool as well. Then we have text. Text is basically like typing anything. So if we like I type it here, this is like the text. You can obviously type anything, and then text tool, the shortcut is T. You just press T and then start typing, and it will type anything, right? So in case of text, the properties have been changed. So let me explain these things a bit later. So this is the width, this is the height of the bounding box around that text. And then we have these three different things as well. This is auto width, this is auto height, and this is fixed size. So what it is, let me quickly go to lorem ipsum. So we just go here, lorem ipsum text, and then I will explain this thing that how these three work, right? Okay. Uh, until that lorem ipsum websites load, I can explain few things here. We have like appearance. I already mentioned these things like appearance, opacity, and the bounding box. Sorry, the rounding radius. How actually they work, but obviously, then we have the typography. Uh, for the moment, leave this icon and come directly here. So this is basically the enter. Enter is the font name. So you can see all the fonts. You can choose any of them. Figma most probably have like different fonts here, and you can choose uh, fonts on the basis of different uh, uh, according to you, according to basically your preferences. Like you have in this file you have fonts, or maybe you can only choose Google fonts, so only it will only show the Google fonts here, right? So they are pre-built in the font. So there are a few variable fonts as well. What are variable fonts? I'm not going to explain these things right now because these are the complex thing. I will obviously explain those things, but later on, right? Okay. Then we have Google fonts, or whatever the fonts you want to use. You can quickly just pick that fonts and it will change. But yeah, let me like let's quickly copy this like paragraph and explain it here, right? So keep in mind there were three options, and I am going to like paste here. So you see it like explain it and point away everywhere they have changed it, right? But what if that is the first option, that is basically adjusting according to the auto width of the text, right? There is going to be very long text and it is going to adjust according to the auto width of the text. But what if like I press T and then drag it here and design like define this box, that this is the actual size of the box where text is going to stay. And now the third option is selected, that is the fixed size. So I like if I'm going to paste it the text right now, so now you can see it has the text has been dropped within the fixed size, but still empty space is available. Why empty space is available? Because I have define the size, that this is going to be the size of the box in which you can design sorry, you can obviously uh, like the text can be written. So in case if I am just writing the text more and more, right, as just doing random text, now you can see that that bounding box is still there, but text is going to be right at the bottom, right? So we don't want to use these things. Then what exactly works? That works in this way, that the middle option is the auto height. So now the bounding box has properly like adjusted with the text. And if I am going to like increase any text, the bounding box is going to expand with the text, right? So I believe it's clear that what is the difference between auto width? It like goes in a horizontal way, very longer form. Fixed size is basically the fixed defined like area for text, and then auto width is basically adjusting the text with that width, right? So that's how actually it works in this in these three forms. Then obviously I was explaining this typography, so you have these three. Then right from here you can choose like the name of the fonts, what are the fonts, what are the typography, we will obviously discuss later on, but currently you can obviously get an idea. Then right here we have the different like variants of the fonts. Either it's bold, either it's regular, either it's medium, semi-bold, whatever it is. Then we have the size of the fonts, right? Right from here, if you like define 45 or whatever it is, then this is auto. Auto is basically this is basically the line height, right? The height between the lines. So if you see here, currently it is auto like line height, but in case if I like keep it 25, so you can see there is a great difference between the line height. So what if in some cases we unknowingly or mistakenly write mention a number, so you can just type auto and it will convert into Figma will automatically auto adjust line height based on that font family, right? This is basically the kerning. What is kerning? Kerning is basically the spacing between the letters, right? So quickly let me explain it here. So just keep an eye on this thing. And if I'm going to increase this thing, so you will see that the spacing among the letter is going to be increasing. This is basically the letter spacing, or maybe you can call it kerning. Why we need it, why it works, how it works, we will explain it later on, but you can get an idea that how actually the kerning works, or where we can find the kernings, right? Then we have these three things. These are the alignments, very basics. I'm not going to explain these things, really different thing. We have few like advanced feature related to the typography as well. We will explain it separately, as I will be like obviously explaining everything separately with the proper one tool as well. So we will discuss this later on, but for now, leave it, right? But yeah, the basics are clear. Then we have comments. Obviously, when we are collaborating and we are discussing our like we are having a proper like teamwork in our project, or when we are collaborating and we are working with the projects, so we need to share comments here. So I can just like press name here, and I can tag anyone, right? So this one is supposedly my own name, and I can type any comment and then paste it, so it will get like the person will get notification that someone has tagged you in the file, and you have to respond it. So you can quickly like see here. And then we have like another added option. You have like that like reactions right from here as well. Okay, then right from here you can also like mark it as read. You can only copy the link of the comment and then send them. You can delete the thread, or maybe you can just click here, and it will resolve the comments, right? But by pressing C, you will see like few comments, like you can drop the comments, and also you will be able to see the comments right here as well. The resolved comment in this way, or maybe the active comment. So obviously you can get an idea that you can delete comment or maybe add comment. And that is probably the most powerful feature of the Figma until now, the collaboration, right? So it really helps us to collaborate with our developer, with our project manager, with our stakeholders, whatever the persons who is involved in the project. Figma gives us like proper facility to collaborate with them and interact with them, right? Then we have this last tool, that is basically the actions tool. So we have a lot of actions here. So in case of like if you have designed any shapes, right, the actions will change according to the shapes, right? And in case you haven't selected anything, then action will change according to, obviously we will be having few features here. So they are the features I have explained earlier, right, available here as well, right? So few of them are here. So in case shape is selected, we will obviously have like related to actions related to this shape. You can flip, right? No, not slip, but yes. But in case if you have selected the typography, you have now like different features of the strike through, right? Now you can see the text has been strike through, right? So that's how actually it works, right? So there are few features. And then we have assets. I already explained that what are assets and how we use them, but I'm not going into the details right now because we will need a separate class for like explaining these libraries and then assets and everything later on. So I will be actually I have planned these classes, and obviously you will be learning them properly later on. Then we have plugins and widgets. We have separate class for plugins and widgets. I'm not explaining these things right now because obviously it will again create complexity in your mind. But keep in mind that plugins are very handy, like flashy tools, which basically increase our productivity. That in case like if we want to like find a resource of a free image, right? So Figma gives us a plugins within the Figma, so we can just search that plugins right from here, and we can use that free resource image, a commercial free image as well, right? So, but yeah, I already explained that I already posted a video as well in which I gave you like 2000 plus free resources, like websites and platforms. So you can see on our channel. It was the first video I uploaded, and yeah, thanks to all of you who have seen. But if you haven't seen, you can find like the link right at the top, and you can find it, right? Okay. Then the last one is basically the dev mode. I'm not going to explain the dev mode currently because if you like turn on the dev modes, it quickly change the whole interface of your like Figma. So that will take a bit of time because obviously when we design anything properly and then we want to like give that file to developer that to code, then obviously we will need to discuss this uh, dev mode. So I will explain it later on, and obviously it is going to be somewhere that last but not the least video of Figma series. So we will discuss it a bit later. But for now, like you can just keep in mind that yeah, this exists here as well. Okay. So probably these were the tools. I explained each of them and how actually they works. So okay, the shortcut key for that dev mode is Shift D, so you can switch out quickly into the dev mode or into the design mode so separately. I believe everything has been cleared until now. I explains the features and every tools and their functions separately. So you can just start Figma, create your account, and get an idea that how these features work. And in our next class, we will be like starting to design few things, make them pretty good will by adding few colors and then explaining few more advanced things separately again, right? Till then now, I hope you guys learned something new today. If you learned something new today and then you are here, just drop a comment and say hi, Captain. We did it, right? So if you did it, thumbs up to you guys, and looking forward to see you in our next class. And happy learning for this whole weekend. Till then, your friend Sadek Hussain signing out here. Bye bye.